7-foot Apache. Woman said no man could handle a woman, her size, until a quiet cowboy proved her wrong. The desert sun burned low over the Arizona plains, staining the sky with copper and gold as Ayanna strode across the parched earth. At 7 feet tall, she cast a shadow longer and darker than any warrior in her Apache tribe. For years she had listened to the whispers, some full of awe, others full of fear. There goes the giant woman. No man can handle her. She'll never find someone strong enough. Ayanna pretended those words did not bother her, but they lingered in her nights like ghosts. Strength had been her blessing, but also her burden. Where other women were admired for beauty or grace, she was admired for a fierceness she had never asked for, and while respect was easy to earn, love was not. That morning, as she collected water from the canyon's spring, distant hoofbeats echoed through the stones. Ayanna froze. Outlaws. She heard 3 horses, fast, reckless, the sound of trouble rolling through the canyon. She pressed against the rock, waiting. The men appeared moments later, rough riders with guns slung at their hips, riding with the confidence of men who feared nothing. They headed straight for the trail leading to her people. Ayanna stepped out before they even noticed her, towering above them like a spirit rising from the earth. "What the?" one outlaw gasped. "Is she real?" another whispered. She didn't give them time to think. Ayanna grabbed the nearest rider, yanking him off his horse with a strength that shocked even her enemies. The other 2 scrambled for their guns, but she was faster. A kick knocked one man's weapon into the dust. The last fired a wild shot, grazing her arm, but she barely flinched. Moments later, all 3 men lay unconscious on the ground. Before she could drag them away, the soft rhythm of a single horse approached, not fast, not dangerous, just steady. Ayanna turned, ready for another fight. Instead, a lone cowboy appeared out of the shimmering heat. He wasn't tall, not loud, not cocky. His black hat shaded calm, steady eyes that seemed to read everything and judge nothing. He stopped a few feet away, dismounted, and studied the scene without fear. "Ma'am," he said quietly, "looks like you had things handled." Ayanna bristled. "Who are you?" "Colt," he answered simply. "Heard gunfire. Thought someone might need help. I do not." "I can see that." His voice held no mockery. He noticed the blood on her arm. "You're hurt." "It is nothing," she snapped. Colt ignored her tone. "May I look?" Ayanna hesitated, for a warrior like her admitting pain was weakness. Yet something in Colt's voice was disarming, gentle without being soft. When she swayed from blood loss, he caught her elbow instantly, steadying her. "You're strong," he murmured. "But even strong folks bleed." Something inside her shifted. She let him clean the wound. When he finished bandaging her arm, he stepped back. "There, that should help." Ayanna studied him with narrowed eyes. "You are strange, Colt." "Been told that." They tied the unconscious outlaws onto his horse and began the walk toward Deadwater. Ayanna's strides were long and powerful. Colt's were calm and sure. After a while, he broke the silence. "Folks talk about you," he said. Ayanna's jaw tightened. "They say I am too tall, too strong, too much. You deny it?" "I cannot deny what is true," she whispered. "I have lived my life alone because of it." Colt stopped walking. "Strength isn't the problem," he said softly. "Weak men are." The words pierced her like an arrow, clean, precise, impossible to ignore. But before she could respond, the ground shook under a new wave of hoofbeats. More outlaws. Colt's hand went to his gun immediately. Ayanna crouched low, instincts sharpening. "They're after their men," Colt said. "Then we fight." "Not here. They'll surround us." She glared. "I do not run." "This isn't running," Colt said. "It's smart." He pulled her toward the canyon rocks. They took cover just as 8 riders stormed into the narrow pass. Gunshots echoed. Colt fired with deadly precision, shooting weapons from hands and striking riders off their horses with clean, controlled aim. Ayanna moved like a storm, charging, striking, disarming with terrifying grace. They were winning until Ayanna heard a gun cock behind her. She spun too late. A shot fired. Colt lunged into her, shoving her aside. The bullet hit him instead. Ayanna caught him as he fell, horror flooding her chest. "Colt!" she cried. His eyes closed. His breathing weakened. "Ayanna didn't want you getting hurt," he whispered. She pressed her hand against his wound, voice trembling. "Stay with me." The quiet cowboy's head fell into her arms, and Ayanna felt something she had never felt before. Fear. Real soul-shaking fear. The kind you feel only when someone important is slipping away. Dusk settled over the open plains like a slow-falling blanket, painting the sky in long strokes of orange and purple. The cowboy Elias Ward rode beside Neola, the towering Apache woman whose presence filled the horizon as surely as any mountain. For years she had been told she was too large, too fierce, too much for any man to stand beside, and yet the quiet cowboy walked at her side without effort, as though the ground beneath them had finally realized it was carrying a pair, meant to travel together. That night they camped near a stream lined with silver stones. The fire crackled softly, throwing warm light across Neola's face, strong, proud, yet shadowed with something Elias had not seen before. Worry. She sat with her knees drawn up, her long braided hair resting over one shoulder, her sharp eyes staring into the flames as though searching for a truth she wasn't ready to say aloud. Elias respected silence. He understood that some words needed to come on their own time, so he waited, sipping from a tin cup, letting the fire speak for both of them. Finally, she broke the quiet. "You think you know me," she said, her voice low but steady. "But you have not seen the hardships that made me this way." Elias didn't flinch. "Then show me," he said simply. She expected fear. She expected disbelief. Instead, she found acceptance, and it softened her expression. She told him of the years she trained alone, because no sparring partner would face her. She told him how the tribes whispered that no husband could match her strength, how men who once admired her shrank away when they realized she stood 7 feet tall and stood firm in spirit as well. She told him how she built walls so high that even she forgot what the world looked like beyond them. Elias listened without interruption, his eyes steady on hers, never drifting away in discomfort. When she fell silent, he set the cup down and leaned forward, letting the firelight carve the sincerity into his features. "Neola," he said quietly, "you're not too much. Everyone else has been too little." The words hit her harder than any weapon ever had. For the first time in many seasons, her throat tightened with something unfamiliar. Hope. Yet hope was dangerous, and she pulled back slightly, searching his face for mockery. She found only unwavering honesty. "You don't fear me?" she asked. "I fear losing a good horse," Elias said with a small smile. "But you, no." The corner of her lips twitched in a rare hint of amusement. She leaned back, studying him more deeply. Most men run from a woman who could lift them with one hand. Elias shrugged lightly. "Strength ain't something a man should run from. It's something he should admire." Warmth spread through her chest, a warmth she had not expected to feel again. She shifted closer to the fire. "And you think you can handle a woman like me?" He looked directly into her eyes. "I don't aim to handle you. I aim to stand with you." The fire popped, sending a shower of sparks into the air. Neola blinked, surprised at how easily his words settled into her guarded heart. She turned her gaze back to the stars overhead, feeling the wide sky open in a way it never had before. As the night deepened, she rose to check the perimeter. Her steps were silent, powerful. Elias followed, not to control but to accompany. When a rustle came from the brush, Neola drew her spear with lightning speed, placing herself between Elias and the unseen threat. A jackrabbit darted out and she lowered her weapon, exhaling slowly. Elias stepped beside her. "You protect fast," he said. "It's what I was taught," she replied. He nodded. "Then let me protect something too." She frowned. "What could you protect that I cannot?" Elias met her gaze squarely. "Your heart. You've held it alone long enough." The words were gentle, but they struck with the force of truth. Neola felt her breath catch. She had fought men, beasts, loneliness, and expectations all her life, but she had never fought the simple kindness of someone who did not want to change her, only accompany her. They walked back to camp, the stars bright above. She sat beside him again, but closer. This time, the warmth between them stronger than the fire. Elias spoke quietly about his ranch, the quiet life he'd built, the empty chair by the fire he'd long stopped expecting to fill. She listened, realizing she had met a man who did not need noise or bravado. His strength came from steadiness, not volume. His spirit did not challenge hers, it complemented it. When the wind picked up, Neola wrapped an animal hide around both of their shoulders. Elias didn't pull away. Instead, he rested his hand lightly on hers, a simple gesture, yet one that felt like a vow. "Neola," he murmured, "you don't have to stand alone anymore." For a long time, she said nothing. Then she whispered, maybe. I don't want to. The fire burned low. The night grew colder. But between them, something new and fierce warmed the space. Connection, respect, and a trust she had never believed she would find. As dawn approached, she looked at him with a softness no one had ever witnessed from her. Elias, she said, her voice quieter than the breeze, you are not like other men. And you, he answered, are the only woman I've ever wanted to keep pace with. Their journey was only beginning, but in that moment, they both knew. The world may have seen them as mismatched, but together, they fit better than anyone could have imagined. And when they saddled their horses to ride on, Neola, towering, strong, unshakable, felt something she had not felt since childhood. She was not alone.